It is my honor and my pleasure to present to you today my colleague, my sister, my friend, Abena Busia, who is retiring from Rutgers after 4 decades with us. Abena Busia is a renowned poet, a groundbreaking scholar, a committed feminist, an innovative teacher, and a caring, committed, and inventive colleague. During Abby's time at Rutgers, spanning 4 decades, as I said, she was just talking about the fact that she's been with us for 40 years. She has built multiple fields, all of which are marked by her feminist work, her love of literature and poetry, and her devotion to building research and teaching that deepen our understanding of African women's literary production across the continent and across decades. Working at the intersections of African studies, of African diasporic studies, African American studies, as well as literatures in English and women's, gender, and sexuality studies, Professor Busia has played an extraordinary role in creating multiple interdisciplinary academic fields. She has exemplified leadership and service as chair of Women's, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, as director of the Center for African Studies, and as director of the Mandela Fellows Program. And she has carried out her responsibilities throughout with grace and with generosity and with a beauty that she brings to everything that she does. As a poet, as a literary critic, as a filmmaker, and as a feminist scholar, Abby has broken new ground, interrogating the politics of representations, particularly in relationship to women, to Africa, and to Blackness, teaching Black history through poetry, theorizing Black feminisms, recovering African women's writing and oral traditions from the 13th century to the present, and conceptualizing and publishing her magisterial 4-volume series, Women Writing Africa. We have been so fortunate, blessed, and proud to have Abena Busia as our colleague, our leader, and our sister. It is my privilege and my deepest pleasure to introduce Abena today. She's joining us from her home in Ghana, and from there, Abby will travel to Brazil, to Brasilia, as soon as it's safe again to travel, to take up a second term as the ambassador of Ghana to Brazil. No matter where she goes, no matter what she does, however, she will always be an integral part of our community at Rutgers University, at the School of Arts and Sciences, at the Department of Women's, Gender, and Sexuality Studies, and the IWL Consortium. So without further ado, again, I'm just so happy to be able to introduce to you Professor Abena Busia.
I want to say what a pleasure and an honor it is to be with you again, even if virtually from so far away. Rutgers has my heart, and so I'm always happy to be part of what you do. And I'm especially happy that you asked me to share poetry today. I've decided to share 2 poems. One I just discovered and one I've written for you for this occasion. I'll begin with a poem called Exposed by Sarah Bournes, who is a pastor of mission and formation at Hope Church in Midtown, New York. Exposed. We've all been exposed, not necessarily to the virus, though maybe, who knows? But we've all been exposed by the virus. Corona is exposing us, exposing our weak sides, exposing our dark sides, exposing what normally lies far beneath the surface of our souls, hidden by the invisible masks we wear, now exposed by the paper masks we can't hide far enough behind. Corona is exposing our addiction to comfort, our obsession with control, our compulsion to hoard, our protection of self. Corona is peeling back our layers, tearing down our walls, revealing our illusions, leveling our best laid plans. Corona is exposing the gods we worship, our health, our hurry, our sense of security, our favorite lies, our secret lusts, our misplaced trust. Corona is calling everything into question. What is the church without a building? What is my worth without an income? How do we plan without certainty? How do we love despite risk? Corona is exposing me, my mindless numbing, my endless scrolling, my careless words, my fragile nerves. We've all been exposed, our junk laid bare, our fears made known, the band-aid torn, the masquerades done. So what now? What's left? Clean hands, clear eyes, tender hearts. What Corona reveals, God can heal. Come, Lord Jesus, have mercy on us. That was exposed by Sarah Burns. Now my own poem that I've written for you. And I want to explain that it's inspired, actually, I started it earlier. The opening is inspired by a picture I saw yesterday or this morning of an award-winning photograph of a COVID care nurse hugging through protective plastic an 85-year-old patient who was being touched for the first time in 5 months, reaching through to care. Through a curtain of clear protective plastic, its folded yellow edges shaped like butterfly wings in flight, a COVID care home nurse, masked, gives a diminutive elderly lady, her grey hair nestled under the chin, her first hug in 5 months. That is the touch of love in difficult times. That charges our lives to ask, who do we care for? Those first sudden deaths in faraway places were mysteries, except no individual death is a mystery. Every loss is a story. Every statistic masks beneath the starkness of loss an ethic of care that counts, that counted, that will always count among the many thousands gone and still going. The next hundreds of losses closer to home were abysmal tragedies that left us floundering for stories to tell, of singing to inspire care workers from balconies above empty streets in the face of unbearable loss, to empower each other in the face of growing degradations and death. Until the following hundreds of thousands near at hand became a culpable performance of farce leading to this unspeakable nightmare of history we live through. When those who govern don't care or think they can bully a virus gone, or their sheer bravura halt its progress, then it is the death knolls toll and toll and toll in the places they don't live and the corridors they don't occupy. Who do we care for in these moments of shock. How define a pre-existing condition we can't measure or test on the body physical? How recognize and treat a pre-existing position we fail to register on the body social? How do we illumine the pre-existing morass we fail to confess on the body spiritual? What justice do we care about? This pandemic is not the only crisis we face as we scramble to return all genies to their broken bottles and arrest the changing climate or keep fossil fuels underground. Can we measure our wealth in the social health that keeps bullets out of bedrooms, knees off our necks, and the generations marching in desperation, chanting for lives that matter? How do we learn to take care? In volatile moments, those who lead make the act of care count. Then a compassionate people can survive, to join the young, to embrace the change in everything, and keep ourselves alive through improvising embraces as we get ready to dance and march and sing again together in the streets.